Welcome to Virtual Raising a Reader Week 10. This week book is entitled Where the Wild Things Are and will be read by a special guest. Joining us this week will be Miss Karen Gerald.
Hello, caregivers. My name is Karen Gerald. I'm from the Anson County Partnership for Children, and I'm the Child Care Services Coordinator. I'm your guest reader for this week, and I'd like to give you some pointers on reading where the wild things are. For example, you can always use puppets to read a story. Children love puppets. Now, there are plenty of puppets for checkout in the resource room at the Anson County Partnership for Children, or you can make your own using paper bags and socks, and even let your child help you make the puppets. They will love that activity. Try making the sounds of the wild things like, I'm going to eat you up. Children love it when you make your voice go up and down and make the voices of the character. And don't forget, you can stop at any point in the story to ask children those open-ended questions and describe things like what a forest is or what encounter is. Thank you so much for reading our story this week. Where the Wild Things Are, story and pictures by Marie Stendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, I'll eat you up. So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, Be still, and tamed them with a magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And made him king of all wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. I wonder, why do you think the monsters are looking at the moon? Why do you think the wild things are hanging from the trees? Would you like to be king or queen of the wild things like Max? Why? Why not? Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We'll love you so. And Max said, No. The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye and sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day and into the night of his very own room where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. The end. Caregivers, it's important when you're sharing a book with a child to ask open ended questions to extend the conversation. One thing you can ask is, where do you think the wild things live? Or you could ask, why do you think Max wanted to be king of the wild things? And number three, how would you feel about the wild things if you encountered them?
Activity time, dress up with your child and pretend to be a wild animal. Have your child recreate parts of the story. Get creative and use your imagination. This activity will help with gross motor skills and language development. Thank you so much for tuning in with us again this week. But most of all, we would like to thank Miss Karen Jura for being our guest reader this week. She did such an amazing job. Join us next week with the book entitled Jake's House. We will be extending our 10-week virtual Raising a Reader program to 5 more weeks. Isn't that exciting? So don't forget to upload any activities to the Anson County Partnership for Children Facebook page. See you later and happy reading.